Starting. Hey, there we are. Cool. We have people. We're live. We have 0 viewers. It's very intense. A lot of pressure on us right now. All 0 people. Hello. Hi, I'm Tren. In case you didn't know, I don't think I know all of you. I know some of you, sort of. Hi. So that was the first thing. Say hello and who you are.
Okay, we're gonna see if my microphone still works when I have my headphones in. I'm Jessica. Hi.
Hi, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. So does somebody want to go first and introduce themselves? Just your name, pretty much. Actually, Jessica went. She said her name's Jessica, so I guess that counts.
I'll go. My name's Raquel. Hi. I'm from Las Vegas. And
Hi, I'm Dory. I'm from Denver.
Cool. We have people. So I might as well just start talking about things. The first thing I think to talk about is like why we signed up, and I'll go first because it was my idea to start this thing, so I'll kind of explain what I was thinking when I started this, and then other people can kind of say like what drew them to it, and kind of just your background and like why you would even look at Harry Potter and go, I want to find out what the social justice-y, feminist, etc. things in Harry Potter are. So I really wanted to do this because, one, I haven't read Harry Potter in a long time straight through. I go through and I pick it up and I read my favorite passages, but I don't really read the whole thing as a whole, and I work for the Harry Potter Alliance, and we have campaigns that are based on Harry Potter, and I'm like, maybe I should reread it again, so I feel a little more comfortable with it. And I think the reason I wanted to focus on looking at like social justice issues and that. Oh, okay. Oh, there's a chat thing. That's fascinating. Oh, now it's there. If you click on the chat, it shows up. Wow, amazing. Distractions are easy. What was I saying? Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Pottered. What did I say? I don't know what I said. So I wanted to talk about like those issues. I did this in a small group with my local chapter of the Harry Potter Alliance a couple years ago, and it was helpful to just kind of sit with other people and talk through things and be like, oh wow, that one scene, that was very much this one issue in the real world, and start making those connections. And I wanted to be able to talk to other people about issues because sometimes it's frustrating when the people in my everyday life don't talk about those things when they're things that are really important to me. So I guess that's why I wanted to do that. Also, I wanted an excuse to read it in Dutch. And yeah, so I'll get to reread in Dutch instead of English. So it's more like a first read. Okay, I guess that's me. Does somebody else want to kind of talk about why they're doing it and kind of expectations and stuff like that? Anyone?
I'll go, I guess.
Cool.
I wanted to do this because I sort of have an obsession with the blogs where people read books for the first time that I've already read, and it's like one of my favorite things on earth is like rediscovering your favorite parts about books. And I'm really excited to do that about Harry Potter and to do it with people who want to talk about the social justice issues in it. And yeah, that's really it for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have to say I'm kind of in the same vein. Like I always followed like the Mark Reads blogs and like that kind of stuff. And so then when I heard at LeakyCon that you're doing this, I was like, oh, I've been looking for a good excuse to reread them. So, and then with the social justice stuff, I know I've had like arguments in the past on whether or not there were like certain social justice things in Harry Potter, and I'm always like, yes, there are, but no one believes me. So it's nice to talk to people who also see those themes, I guess. So.
Okay, I guess she's having mic pronouns. My brain also then went, oh, make sure you check pronouns before using pronouns. Um, having mic issues. Yeah. Okay. Well then, right now it's the three of us while Katie figures out mic issues. What are my other questions that I asked? I had questions. I wrote them down, and I didn't do a very good job of looking at them right now because I spent almost an hour trying to make this thing work. That was fun. Note to self in the future, start working on getting it set up earlier. Oh. That's not what I want. Okay, so I'll just read what Lynn, I think, is what you actually said in the thread you want to be called. Lynn wrote um, she says, I was interested for a lot of the same reasons. Harry Potter is something very important to me that I haven't had a chance to read in a while, so I was excited to do this and look at it in a different light. If you want to write done when you're done on things, then I'll be done. Okay, that was it. Okay. And as Dory just suggested in our chat, one of the other questions I asked in our email thread was about like what your strengths and weaknesses are in terms of different social justice issues. So I think my example was not was just very short because I was in Canada and doing a lot of other things and trying to rush and get stuff out. Oh yeah, I talked to. So I think really quick, my strengths were probably just in queer issues, queer LGBT, etc. issues. Although the other day I came across a term that I'd never heard of before, so I don't know. And I looked it up and I was like, I didn't know there was a word for this thing. And I forget what the word was, but it was like the prefix for attraction to people who are not cis males, I think was basically what it was, which is a very important term to have. Um, oh, and there's Auden, who I think was the one who used the term. I think it was in our thread. He just joined.
What are we talking?
I was just talking about. So, okay, we're talking about strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
and I mentioned that I thought I was really good on like queer, LGBTQ, etc. things, and then you used a term that I'd never heard of before, which was the prefix for like not cis males for attraction or whatever it was exactly, but um,
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a word for that.
I found that word recently and I was like, that's it, that's the thing.
It's a great term. And since you just joined, we can give you a minute to just introduce yourself, and we all kind of talked about really briefly why we joined this, why we were interested. So
So, like the same things that I said in the email thing, but with my mouth?
basically, yeah. Sometimes people word things differently with their mouth than via email, and sometimes we remember things better when it's via sound instead of text.
Ooh, wow. Um, well, I don't tend to remember things better that way, so I don't actually know what I'm going to say now. But, um, yeah, I know a couple of people who are in here already,
That's
so
cool.
that's exciting. Sorry, I'm putting in headphones so that it won't do the weird sound thing. There we go. And now I will broadcast too. Hello.
Hello.
Cool, it's your face even.
It's my face. So exciting. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Introduction.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hi. I'm Auden. I live on the internet and I run the Fandom Forward project with the Harry Potter Alliance, and I blog a lot about Buffy and some other stuff. And I like poofy dresses, and I also really like Harry Potter. And so I wanted to be a part of this project, partly because I think the people who are involved in it are particularly cool, and because it has been a while since I've reread Harry Potter, and I have sort of figured out a lot more things about the world and about myself since the last time I read those books. And so I am excited to see how that affects the way that I read the stories now. Yes.
Those were the words I should have said. Thank you. Thank you for reaching into my brain and
I have that skill. I didn't mention that in my introduction, but I am also telepathic. But,
oh,
yeah.
good to know.
Yep.
I'll be careful what I think around you. Don't repeat some of those things I think. I'm kidding. Okay, so I guess everybody's kind of had a chance to introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk about strengths and weaknesses that you feel you have, and kind of just go off on tangents onto like our collective strengths and weaknesses. So I was saying queer LGBTQ issues, I'm pretty good on. I'm like autism community, I'm like right there, I get it. But then I don't know, the whole like the disability world is very large, and I'm like semi okay on a lot of other issues, but not great. And I feel like I'm not like I wish I was better talking about race, but I think for a white person I'm like pretty high up there. Like sometimes I'm around other white people and I'm like, what? I've had this experience recently of like can't unsee, where once you kind of start noticing racism, that it's everywhere, you're like, why is the media only covering like the shooting in Paris? For a while they were only talking about the Muslim shooters and not about the Muslim police officer who was trying to stop the shooting. And I was like, that seems a little racist. Yeah. So those are things that I hadn't noticed before and I'm now noticing, but I think I still have a long way to go on race and non-Western identity in general. Somebody else want to go for it?
I guess I'll go for it. I'm half Japanese, so I feel like I'm pretty good on like the race stuff, and I know the medical and physical disability world pretty well, but I don't really know much about like the mental illness side. Um, and I really don't know anything about religion. I embarrassed myself hideously in preschool when I thought that Jesus was a vampire when we learned the Easter story, so
Oh, there is zombie Jesus.
Live in it. Just own it. Own that.
That's so good.
Own that part of yourself.
So are you passing it off to somebody else now,
I
Dory?
am. Sorry, done.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, it's particularly helpful in the typing because it doesn't show when somebody's typing.
Mhm. Yes, so I'm passing it on.
Okay, I will talk next. I feel like I have a pretty solid grasp on the things that specifically apply to me, and an inherently limited understanding of the things that don't apply to me. And so, as much as I try to educate myself about those things by talking to people or reading books or whatever, my experiences there are going to be inherently filtered through my own brain and my lack of like cultural understanding of those things. But as far as like actual things that specifically apply to me, where I feel like my voice is pretty solid, yeah, I know a lot about my own experiences with mental illness and some physical illness. I know a lot about LGBTQ stuff, gender things, also other stuff that is blanking out of my brain right now, but I probably wrote down earlier. Yes.
We can go back and reread.
Yes, do that.
Right.
That's all. On to someone else now.
Okay, I guess I can go now. So I'm kind of in the same boat where the things that personally affect me, I feel like have a lot more of a platform to speak on about. So that would be like, I feel like I'm pretty well versed in like feminism and mental illness issues. And as far as religion goes, I guess I know a lot about it, but I feel like you know, being a non-religious person in a religious society is something that's kind of a thing. As far as like racial issues and LGBTQ issues, I'm like learning about them all the time because, uh, you know, I just feel like that these are things that are really important to learn if you're going to have any type of relationship with people who are, you know, in the world that you want to be friends with. I don't know. I feel like I can't really talk about things from a point of personal perspective, but I can you know, learn as much as I can about these things, and I like hearing people's experiences with those. So, and then as far as weaknesses go, I would say just everything because you know, it's impossible to like know the whole gamut of things. So that's, you know, one of the reasons I'm here is just, you know, learning other people's perspectives.
That's cool. Okay, I'll read what Lynn's written. Um, quote. So my weakness at the moment is microphones. Oh, that's good. That's yeah. But seriously, I'm working on expanding some of my knowledge and understanding of race issues and disability largely. I agree with a lot of what Auden said about my experiences being filtered by my cultural understanding, etc. I feel pretty solid on queer stuff though because it's really, really important to me, and feminism has been a major thing for me. I'm still learning and working on all of this. Is that a done, or is that a... Okay, cool. Just making sure. It didn't look like you were typing. Cool. We have some basic... Yeah. Also, the other reason for talking about this is that there may be people who decide to follow along and not be on email threads. So people also may want to get information that way just by watching videos. Which is also why I don't want to do an 8-hour broadcast like Hangouts says that we could do. That would be very long. Yeah. What are some other I think one of the things to talk about is just like what in Harry Potter you think is a issue. Like without going back and rereading things, what are things that it relates to for you? So specifically the first book, 'cause that's what we're starting with. I think one of the things I've been thinking about recently with the first book and with the Harry Potter series in general is just like child abuse. And even just in the first chapter, I'm really upset about this right now. And this could probably be something to talk more about next week. But you have 3 grown-ups whose careers are working with children, and they left an infant on some stranger's doorstep with a letter. And the treatment of children in this entire series, sometimes I just want to like shake all the adults and oh my gosh.
Dumbledore, why?
That's what I say a lot. Dumbledore, why? So I think that's one of the things it's on my mind going into this reread is just looking at the way children are treated by adults, and I think that's particularly relevant to me because I just applied as of this morning to a program for working with youth. It's a university program, youth and community work, and so it's kind of something I'm really interested in. Yeah, I think that's something I'm focusing on going into this read is just looking at kids and how they're treated by adults and how adults could be better. And maybe not hire stupid teachers, Dumbledore. What are you doing?
I feel like there's also a lot of like underestimation of kids. Like that's really a central thing, like an underestimation of, I mean, both how good and how bad kids can be, and like what they can and cannot cope with, and when they need adult help. I feel like they sort of suck at like giving kids adult help when they need it, and then like backing away when they don't in these books.
Yeah.
I think something that has been really relevant to me when thinking about Harry Potter lately, and actually when thinking about any like large story world that has impacted me so much. Right now, what I'm thinking about is Doctor Who, but it applies very well to Harry Potter too. It's just kind of the idea of where I would fit into these story worlds if I were there. Because I think when I was younger, especially, it was very important to me that Hogwarts was like this place that I could go and that I could escape to. But as I've grown older and I've recognized some of the things that are inherent in those books, like there aren't any queer students described there, and there aren't any students with disabilities described there. I've started to wonder about whether I would actually fit at Hogwarts, which is a very painful thing for me to think about. And so I think that has certainly been an element of my recent Harry Potter thoughts. The idea of representation in those stories and the way that lack of representation can affect the way that we read stories and the way that subsequently we use stories as a tool for seeing the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a good point because, like, the only, queer character that was revealed later to be Dumbledore, there wasn't anything about that in the books, It was something that the people reading the books could identify with at the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've mostly been thinking about that over the past few days. I've especially been thinking about that in the context of Doctor Who, because when I was re-listening to one of the audio adventures, with the Eighth Doctor, which is like my favorite, well, really the only part of the Doctor Who universe that I frequent, um, on re-listening, I discovered like transphobic slur, and that has been really stressing me out. And I emailed the company that produced the audio, and very, very unhappy thing. So that's where my brain space is. But
I saw that post.
yeah, there were a bunch of posts about that because it's really upsetting me.
So I think it was a computer problem. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I went on my phone instead. The
Hooray!
computer was angry at me. It's not a very good computer.
Uh-huh.
So I'm here.
Cool. You have a voice now, so you
Yay.
can read things in your own voice. I don't have to speak for you. Literally and metaphorically.
So I guess I should probably say what I'm thinking about the whole Harry Potter, and I think a lot of what you guys were saying is really interesting, and a lot of what I'm kind of thinking about, like with Harry Potter, with like it's there not being any queer kids at Hogwarts, and like I think the child abuse thing was really interesting. I hadn't thought about that before, and suddenly I'm like, oh my god. Like, who put these people in charge of children? But yeah, so I think there's a lot of things you can kind of talk about with this series because there's just so much to it in the first place. Like, they're long books and there's 7 of them, and it's kind of like it's a popular thing that everyone kind of relates to. So I think that there's like, because we all have this understanding of Harry Potter, I think there's a way for us to all kind of like go into those things and think about it in a totally new way. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's basically it.
Do you have anything to add, Dory? I don't think you touched on this, is it true? Or maybe I'm...
Well, yeah, I guess I always thought that, like, as far as disabilities at Hogwarts, like, it always struck me that there was no one, and I always thought, like, in my head that, like, that was, like, when you got to be a witch, like, they could cure you. Like, that's always been my magical escape. So.
Although I think there are disabilities in Harry Potter, just not that many. Like, obviously Moody has a disability, and lycanthropy, Lupin, that is often seen as like a parallel for AIDS, which is another kind of falls in the broader health and disability category. And then I've talked to people who like work with like on mental health issues, talking about like Harry specifically, because especially the way he deals with Dementors and the way they affects him more. Basically saying these are like obvious signs that Harry has some sort of mental disorder, like PTSD or something, just because he, a Dementor comes and he's like collapsing, passing out, freaking out, like when everything else is fine. Like a small thing will trigger a massive flashback, like with PTSD. So I think there is some representation of disability, but it's very confusing that there's not like. Obviously, there's also glasses, some sort of visual impairments for some people, but
yeah. I think kind of Harry Potter and disability. I think there's some, things that could be seen as metaphors for something or things that could be like related to it, but there's not so much going on like explicitly. And I think that's kind of what happens with Harry Potter a lot, where it tries to do something, but it doesn't do it explicitly. So you're kind of left like, was I imagining that, or did that happen?
Yeah, that's like how Harry Potter does race, where they have, the pureblood Muggle-born thing as like a metaphor for race. But then if you actually look at, racial minorities in the series, like Cho Chang is such a terrible Asian girl stereotype. It's so awful. I can't. Really?
Is it true that the racial makeup of the students at Hogwarts is the same as the makeup of the UK? Because I keep hearing that.
I've heard that, and I'm not sure. And also the racial makeup of the UK today versus 25 years ago, they're already changed. But even if the racial makeup's the same, all of the racial minority characters they're smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always imagined Hermione as black.
Yeah.
Until
books aren't explicitly like they're all white kids, but I mean, I don't think J.K. Rowling was sitting around going, let's make it big enough.
Definitely.
But it is nice to be able to read other races into the characters. I was confused when I found out Harry was white and Hermione were white, because I thought of my family, and they're like, especially Harry's messy hair. I'm like, that's like my family. My family is from Honduras, so they're Hispanic. So I'm not. Confusing racially white, but like family not quite. I don't know. So it's kind of weird, and then I realized that everybody else was reading most of the characters as white, and that was kind of interesting. I've seen people get really upset, though, about somebody imagining a character as, like, not white.
I've seen that too, like fan arts where the characters aren't white and people always feel the need to, like, comment it on and be like, why'd you do that?
Or like my other favorite is, this is so nice, but like, why did you have to draw it that way?
Yeah.
It's pretty, but
I definitely feel like draw Harry Potter any color you want as long as he has great skin. Have you read that post? It's like
I have not.
Yeah. Incredible.
No, I got my little sister turned on to like just like Black Hermione headcanons and like Harry being a person of color and stuff, and now she's really into it. She'll send me links to all the art and stuff. So I'm like, cool.
Yeah, those are great headcanons.
Like, no one ever asks, like, well, why did you make Harry white? Like, why did you make Hermione white? Like, people don't ask those questions.
Yeah.
It says anything in the book, so I don't know.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of the Hunger Games, when people on Twitter freaked out because Rue was black. They're like, it's less sad. I'm like, what?
And like, first of all, who cares if she's black? Second of all, in the books, it actually describes her that way.
Explicit. Yeah. It's like not even big. I don't know how you get dark skin and think that's white.
And even if it didn't say that, I'm like, why does this bother you at all? Like,
yeah. There's some stuff going around with Welcome to Night Vale, I think, and I think it was Dana is described as having natural hair, and a whole bunch of people were like, oh, that means, like, she's totally white, and it's like, the description, like, was pretty much explicitly not white, but people, like, were like, oh, well, it means that she just hasn't dyed it or, like, straightened it or anything. I'm like,
because
what the hell? That's not what that means. You're wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. I also have seen people get upset about George's kids not being white. Like, they'll see fan art and they're like, no, George's kids are. I'm like, George and Angelina, she's black. Their kids are gonna be mixed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know how genetics work, but
Can't believe people are mad about that.
I haven't seen that much about it just because there's certain characters people talk about a whole lot, but a couple times I've seen people like confused about it. Like, why'd you make them black? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fandom can be so weird sometimes.
Yeah, fandom's tough. It's like the fandom is great, and then sometimes the fandom is scary. And yeah.
Yeah. I think also people who are in fandom sometimes they have this image in their head, and then if the representations of it in like art and movies and stuff isn't the same, they get really weird about it. And I guess that's where like the race thing and even like with queer stuff, like with people ship certain couples, and then when they turn out to be like I don't know, gay or something, then people are like, oh, well, that's not how I read into it. I'm not saying this in Harry, well, even with Dumbledore, people were like, oh, I never saw it that way, and it's like, okay, well, it's true. So, I think people have like this idea in their head about how the series is, and then when they get more information, I don't know, they riot against it, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. Because the fandom's really good on like accepting members of the fandom who are queer and such. Well, mostly like gay, and then gay, lesbian, kind of beyond that queer, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Beyond that, like it's like society. Society
Yeah,
is like
that's pretty much
at one
how
level with gay and lesbian, and then they're like bye, and then they're like, yeah, whoa, what?
Yeah, it's definitely like gay, lesbian, but
Yeah, it's like that.
Actually, I just read a post about Sirius is gay, and I've like not been super into the whole Wolfstar thing, because I just don't care. Like either way, I just don't care. But I was reading a thing that was talking about like teenage. I forget where in the series it is, but it's teenage Sirius who is described as like very attractive, more so than Harry and James or something. I don't know. And like there's obviously like girls paying attention to him, he's ignoring them. Like what 16-year-old boy is like, what 16-year-old arrogant boy is just ignoring girls talking to him?
Yeah.
So they were like obviously gay, and I was like actually not obviously gay, possibly clearly not interested in girls. I mean there are other identities besides gay and straight, so
No, there are none. I wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
That's just how it is, and you gotta just suck it up. You can be gay or you can be straight. That's it. Sorry.
You can be half-blood?
Sorry to everyone that is not one of those. Nope. You're breaking the law.
Is that like saying pureblood or muggle-born only? Those are only options.
If you're half-blood, you don't exist.
Sorry, Voldemort.
Invisible. I'm invisible. The superpower.
You're invisible and telepathic?
Yes.
That's pretty, wow.
Yeah, that's
How
too
do you
much. You can like
superpowers?
be in a room with someone and know what they're thinking, and they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
You know,
It's
I wouldn't want
incredible.
to be in a room with somebody and know what they're thinking and then not know I'm there, because I don't really want to know what people think when I'm not around.
That's true.
Like, when people are on their own, their minds are going to wander off places I don't want to go.
I was thinking more like Auden, Incredible International Super Spy.
That's true.
That would be pretty
That is
Like
true.
He'd be a great superhero or something. It's like you could just figure out what their plans are when they have no idea, and then you can stop them.
Show up and
So I have to get going because I forgot it was a friend's birthday tonight, and then
Oh, no.
I remembered
Oh, okay.
yesterday, so I have to go to his party. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, see you soon.
See you on the internet.
See you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Hello. Are you here? It's showing your mic is muted.
Hello?
Oh, there.
Okay. I'm
Hello.
trying to figure out how to get my webcam to be detected right now.
Tech fun. Part of the reason why there's a pre-read live stream, so we can find out what tech issues need to be sorted.
Right? It
Yeah.
usually works, like in Skype and everything, so I'm like,
Turn it off and turn it back on again?
maybe.
Do you work for tech support?
Have you tried disengaging the external inertial dampeners?
Maybe I'll turn it on again.
I just always turn things on and turn back on again. That's what I do with my computer. I'm just like, you're going slow. Turn it off, turn it back on again.
I do it with my phone all the time. My phone will get slow and I'm like, no. Turn you back on. Turn you off, turn you back on. Alright, you go work now. Oh, there I am.
Woo! Hello.
Apparently the USB ports didn't want to work. Hi, I'm late.
That's okay. We're
I was late too, so.
You can watch on the YouTube later. I will send that link out in the email that I'm going to send out tomorrow night, hopefully, or Monday morning, or Monday time.
Monday time.
Yeah.
I'll be
Between time
eagerly
zones
waiting for
and the
that.
fact that I have a job that's like supposed to be 60 to 80 hours a week, although it has not been the past week or so. But yeah, between those things, I don't know what time things happen anymore.
Right. I usually work like 37 hours a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't wait.
So, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and?
Okay. I'm Rory. I did not send out an introduction in the email because I kept forgetting until I was at work, and I'm not supposed to use myself when at work. I literally walk into work and be like, I forgot to send out the email again. I use female pronouns. I don't know what else to say.
That's okay. That works. Hi. Yeah. Also, saying things even if you had emailed helps because some people might follow along not through email but just on the internet. If people want to watch our faces talk about Harry Potter, I guess. Seems like a fun thing to do. Yeah, so we've covered kind of why we were interested in doing this in the first place, and talked about like strengths and weaknesses personally in terms of like different social justice issues, and then we talked about just sort of like general thoughts about the series in terms of
I'm
real
excited to actually like read through because like I read Harry Potter all the time, but like I usually like pick up like a certain passage that I want to reread or like my favorite parts, and so I haven't like actually like reread the entire thing because there's parts that annoy me and stuff like that, or I'm like I don't want to read that. That's stupid. I'm just gonna skip like 400 pages.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said too. Most of my copies of my books have like, I don't know if it's possible to see this, but like they're all dog-eared. I
Oh,
don't know.
yep. Right,
This
where
is
you
book
reading
one, which
on?
isn't as bad, but I have like each book. Actually, I only have the first two books because I moved, and I moved with a very small suitcase, and everything else is currently 15,000 miles away. So I only have the first two books, and all of mine have like they're all annotated, like ridiculously. So I'm really sad that I don't have my other copies. I have other copies of the Harry Potter series, obviously, but I have my set that's annotated, and I'm gonna have to read through without it possibly if I don't get 3 through 7 in time.
That's sad. That's beautiful.
But yeah, I just pull up to favorite passages and yeah. Um, okay, so that's that. We also covered kind of like personal strengths and weaknesses on social justice, etc. issues. And then we kind of started talking about like the Harry Potter, just different general like thoughts on social justice from reading it. And I talked about like child abuse because there's a lot of child abuse that goes on in that series.
Oh God, yeah.
And we talked about like representation of people with disabilities and of LGBTQ, etc. people, and of like racial minorities, and yeah, stuff like that. I don't know if you have anything you want to like add into that.
Warning, I'm probably gonna cry when we talk about Remus Lupin and Sirius Black because they're my babies. Heads up. I have a friend who I met from Tumblr just because when I first joined Tumblr in like 2011, I was super into Harry Potter, and so I started following her because she's a huge Harry Potter person, and we usually end up crying over Sirius Black together.
Who is it?
Permits too, Allie. She goes to LeakyCon, actually. I met her in real life in Florida, and that was super weird. It's really funny because my baby is Sirius, and her baby is Remus. But we both ship Wolfstar, and so we have, like, opposite.
We did briefly mention Wolfstar too. I don't feel like it's possible to talk about Harry Potter without somebody at some point mentioning Wolfstar.
Obviously canon. Subtext.
I mean, I feel like dudes can have very close relationships without it needing to be a sexual romantic relationship.
Okay, but Remus is literally the metaphor for being gay. Like, how could you be the metaphor for being gay without being gay?
And they gave Harry a joint Christmas gift in Phoenix.
Married.
It could be a platonic marriage. I'm all for platonic marriage.
That is true.
They could be platonically gay for each other. They could also be sexually gay for each other, you know? I think both are valid interpretations.
I have a friend who's my sexuality cross lover because we're both gay. And I always tell them that if I end up alone, I'm going to just marry him and have 1,000 cats.
You know, for a moment I like pictured that as like not adopting cats, but like I was just wait, no, that does not make sense. Why did I think that makes sense?
That's awesome.
Yeah, cats.
Yeah, I'm just going to birth kittens.
Do it.
I don't really
It'll
think
be
about the
fun.
process of birthing cats so much as just, yeah, be biologically yours, but I didn't really think about the thing.
Then someone could be like, Rory's having kittens, and it would be literal.
You know, one day science might get there.
Or at least magic, you
Has
know.
science gone too far?
imagine the headlines in 100 years or so when just in 100 years, like what are the headlines going to be in 100 years? They're going to be so weird.
Probably still gonna be celebrities. So I imagine a
It's
lot
going
of
to be the same
she
thing
lost
still,
20
but it's
pounds. Hopefully that's not. But I
there'll be
feel
drama about the colony on Mars over by pig farts. The Muggles will finally figure out how to get there too.
yep. Probably a lot of laughing over memes.
What if there are no more memes?
It's just
What
gonna
if
be
the
like
internet
this
ceases to
ancient
exist?
tradition that we used to have back in the first days of the internet, and everyone's gonna be like, "Do you remember when like our ancestors used to laugh over these things? I don't get it."
I wonder if Harry Potter will still be read.
Better be.
Will it be like, will people, like teenagers have to read it in school and they'll just be like, oh, they'll like treat it like we treat all the other great
It could
books.
be
that we
like
love.
Lord of the Rings, though. Only
Be
easier
like
to read.
Narnia.
Or like, Jane Austen.
Yeah, I feel like there will still be a few, but it won't be as obviously popular as right
I
now.
don't think there's going to be any generations that is obsessed with Harry Potter as ours is. But that's because, I mean, we're the Harry Potter generation.
Yeah. I always wonder if in the future they'll do like remakes of the movies and stuff.
Oh, God.
With the classics now, like I don't know, that's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I want to know if Harry Potter will end up in history textbooks.
that would be so cool. I mean, it
I bet it will.
has a huge impact.
He's already in my mythology textbook. So's Firefly though.
Actually, we talked about Harry Potter in Myth, Ritual, and Magic.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't in the textbook, but we talked about it.
Is that like a university level course though?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering though if like kids in like, primary and secondary school are gonna have Harry Potter mentioned in their history books. They're like, British history. Or it'll be in their American history thing. American J.K. Rowling. Because America would do that. It'd be in Texas probably.
Yeah. Gotta love America. Let's just take credit for everything.
Or maybe one day they'll have it in textbooks and be like, yes, that one time when those silly people thought that Asian girls were all this one stereotype that Cho Chang fits perfectly, and everybody's like, oh, those old days back in the 1990s. They were so unenlightened. They thought this was progressive.
Hopefully.
I can't wait till when Harry Potter looks like conservative and ridiculous.
Yeah, right?
It's just things that were progressive, when did Harry Potter come out? Like almost like 18
The first book was published in 1998.
Yeah, so 17 years ago, and now it's already like we're looking at how much things have progressed since then, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But at the time it was, I guess, like pretty progressive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was progressive that J.K. Rowling said after the fact that Dumbledore was gay.
yeah, after the fact.
Yeah.
And now you have like the Percy Jackson series. No spoilers, but one of the characters is like canon gay.
Wait, I've read that, and I don't remember that.
Maybe not Percy Jackson, but whichever one.
There's like a million of new ones because she keeps like creating series.
Okay,
Off of
I've
those.
only read the Percy Jackson series, so.
But I
maybe
think
that's it.
the characters go into there's like the first series, but then those same characters move on, or at least Percy does, I think, like
To a different series.
Gods of Olympus or something instead, because the first one is like with the Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah.
I just remember Luke, and I feel very angry about the name Luke. So I'm glad that Luke is a character who makes me angry.
Don't you love it when names get ruined for you?
Because of person? It's really
Yeah.
frustrating because
Person or like a character. Like Dolores. I cannot
Oh.
stand. Oh my god. I was reading a book the other or it wasn't even a book, it was an article. And this lady was named Dolores in it and it made me angry. And my brother was just like, why are you angry at her? I'm like, her name. Yeah, and then there's like people you know, like Ashley and Brittany. I've never met a Brittany that I liked.
I believe I've met Bernie that I liked. I just can't think right now. My brain. Yeah, one of my oldest sister's friends was Brittany, and she was my biggest fan. So actually, I have met Brittany that I like.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I don't think my sister liked her very much because she liked me too much, and that wasn't cool of her.
Oh, yep. Yep. I've had that problem. I have 5 older siblings, and so when their friends like hung out with me too much, oh man, you can't steal my friends. I'm like, okay.
I had that issue when MySpace had the top 8, you know?
Oh,
Your friends. So one time my sister's friend ranked me above her on her top 8, and yeah, got in a lot of trouble for that.
The drama of the MySpace top 8 is amazing.
oh god, throwback.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
I like had
And
this.
then when you move somebody up in your top 8, it was like,
Oh.
you know, if you like somebody, you move them up higher.
It's like, okay, you're my top 2, but I'm only like your number 6 or something. That's not okay.
There was so much drama.
Oh god, yeah.
Okay, Auden has to head out, and actually we should probably be wrapping up because I don't want this video to be too long for people, and also I just want to respect people's times and not go on forever in general. And we'll have a lot more to talk about next week.
Yeah, when we actually start reading.
How much are we reading?
We're just reading one chapter to start with. I think the pace we have might be a little slow because it's gonna take until March to finish reading the first book, but
I'm doing another reading challenge on top of this, so it's probably good
Yeah.
that it's slow.
That's what I was thinking when I was setting it up, was that going slower will probably work better for more people.
Yeah.
And if you want to read faster, you can read faster and then just talk about it later. Yeah. So, first chapter of Philosopher's or Sorcerer's Stone, or Weisen or something. I don't know if I said that right.
See,
Or, what was it in Spanish? I read it in Spanish a while ago. I might reread it in Spanish too, but
I'm thinking about it. I have it here somewhere. The Spanish copy.
oh, you do?
Prisoner of Azkaban. I have the full set in Spanish.
That is so cool. You're now my favorite person.
I want the full set in French.
I'm moving up my top 8.
Whole French one.
Oh, I do. I also have the first one in French. Oh, yeah. I gotta read that. I'm just gonna read in all the languages. I don't really know French. I know some, but I'll just read it anyway. Cool. Harry Potter in lots of languages.
Woo!
More. I think if you say something when you put it in front of your screen, it'll show up that bigger.
No. I still can't find. I know it's in here somewhere though, so.
You can never find the one you're looking for.
No. I can find like, the English versions. I have a whole shelf that's just for Harry Potter though, so it's somewhere.
That's awesome though.
Alright, talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I think that's a good segue to wrapping up, though. I'm not sure if I click stop broadcast if it's gonna end this call entirely, so I don't want to click
I
that button.
don't think so.
It won't?
I'm pretty sure it won't.
Okay. I'm
It'll
just gonna
stop
try it
the
and
broadcast, but not the call.
okay, that's what I was hoping for. So I'm gonna end the broadcast now.